So, welcome to this film review for Fighter in the Wind. Oh dear. When I went on the internet asking people for good karate films, a lot of people mentioned Koryobi, which I've previously reviewed. And the second most popular film that people were recommending that I watch for karate films was Fighter in the Wind. However, apart from the fact that nobody was clearly reading what other people had already written, there were a few people that wrote that are no good karate films, and I'm inclined to agree with them. Because if Koryobi and Fighter in the Wind are the best that people can suggest out of all the others, there are others which I'm going to watch later, then we have a serious problem. Fighter in the Wind bored the hell out of me. It really did. I just could not get into it. When I watch a martial art film, there are several things I want from it. I want a good story. I want that from any film, regardless of genre. But I also want some good martial arts. And I want it to be justifiable. There's a lot of martial art films out there which just put a load of fighting in for absolutely no good reason. They just do it because they can do it. And I don't like that sort of film. I actually want it to be justifiable in the sense of the story. Fighter in the Wind, I feel, doesn't do this. I also feel the karate in the film is terrible. And the way it's shot is so bad. And I was just sitting there rolling my eyes thinking, oh god, really? Just no. It's the classic zoom right in shot type thing and do lots of jump cuts and then there's this really annoying thing where they keep doing things in slow motion, but it's really, really, really bad slow motion. And then sometimes like they would just play around and they weren't consistent with the effects they used, and other times they would just like do things freeze framing to a still image for no reason, and then again and then again. But that was only like in one tiny segment of the film. It wasn't consistent all the way through. It's just like, hey, we've done some slow motion earlier in the film. Let's try doing some freeze framing, and then I think there's one bit where they go into like black and white briefly, and then back to colour, and it's a mess. It's a terrible, terrible mess. It's terrible editing. Awful editing. One of the worst editing I've seen in a martial art film. I mean, you've got things like John Wick. Obviously, that was made in a much higher budget. You've got the fighting scenes, and it's all in one continuous take, zoomed out. So there's none of this zoomed in jump cut nonsense. It's all panned right out and long take. The reason they do zoomed in jump cuts on martial art fighting films is because the person doesn't really know what they're doing and they can't make it look good on camera, so they have to make it look good with the camera effects, which actually to me ultimately makes it look worse. As for the story was pants. It's this Korean person who goes over to Japan he wants to fly the fighter pilots in the war, but then he doesn't want to join the kamikaze, and then the war ends anyway, and then there's some other weird shit. Then there's some characters that I think we're supposed to care about, but I just found myself not caring. I can't even be bothered to look up their names. I can't remember their names or anything. There's like some older guy that used to look after him and teach him when he was younger, and he dies, and then they go and fight the Yakuza, then he goes away, and then he has a bit of a breakdown in the mountains, and then he trains karate, then he comes back, and then he starts beating everyone up, then he kills some people, and then he says, I'm never going to fight again, but then he has to fight again anyway, and then all along while this is going, there's a love story that doesn't go anywhere and is completely pointless. So generally, for story, I found it crap. For editing, I found it crap. For dialogue was crap, although I was reading subtitles. The karate was crap. I actually, to be honest, I watched the first half an hour and I was thinking, when is this going to end? The only reason I carried on watching is because I'd already stated in a previous video that I was going to watch this film. So that's the only reason I did it. If I hadn't already had that live and people had seen it, then I wouldn't have bothered carrying on. But okay, I'm carrying on now. About an hour in, I gave up, played some card games on the computer, watched some YouTube videos, then came back to it, watched a bit more, and I was just like, oh, I'm just not getting into this. The last half hour I actually sped up. I actually watched it at 2x speed because I was just thinking, okay, I've got half an hour to go. Can we just get this over with? So I sped it right up. It made reading all the subtitles a bit of a mission because they're flashing up really quickly, but I just didn't like it. So I am inclined to agree with all the people when I requested for good karate films, all the people that said there are no good karate films, I'm going to have to agree with them. Kung Fu films, yeah, I like, there's quite a few, there's good and bad ones of them. A few people said I should watch On Back, but that's not karate, okay? That's Muay Thai boxing, kickboxing. It's like, yeah, that's not karate. And a few people suggested, a few people have suggested I watch High Kick Girl, but then reading the reviews on High Kick Girl, it's like, do I really want to watch that? In fact, a few people said, oh, High Kick Girl is a good karate film. Then other people are like, actually, it's not a good karate film. It's a karate film, but it's not good. Thinking, do I really want to do I want to subject myself to that? And it's like, oh, really? Oh. And there's a trailer for a new karate film that's just come out, but I don't know when it's coming out in this country. When it comes out in this country, I'll find it and I'll watch it. That looks quite good. I can't remember what it's called right now. Anyway. So, yeah, I was not impressed with Fighter in the Wind, and I'm not impressed with the people that recommend I watch it and said it was a good karate film, because it just isn't. As a film of karate, no. A film of story, no. I don't know how many other ways I can say it now. I'm just very disappointed in this film. I just couldn't get into it, and it kept like making out that we should care about these characters, and it's just like, I don't care about these characters. I really, really don't care about any of them or what happens to them. I don't care about their history. I don't care about what they're going through, and I don't care about what they're gonna go through. It was not for me. It might have been better if it had some decent editing on the fight scenes, but it just didn't. It was terrible. And it had some really annoying characters, really cheesy acting, really stupid dialogue. I just didn't like it. So that is my thoughts on Fighter in the Wind. Okay, I'm sorry if you're one of the people that recommended it to me, and you enjoyed it. Fair enough, you enjoyed it, but I just really didn't. I just found it to be a terrible, terrible film. I didn't like it. So that's just my honest opinion. And I know whenever I give honest opinions on my film reviews, a bunch of people don't like it, but that's my thoughts on it. We can't all like the same things. So anyway, I'm going to think about making a fun video now that might actually cheer me up a bit. I don't know what film review I'm going to do next. I might do High Kick Girl, but don't be surprised if there's no video for that, because if that is awful, then I'm not going to bother posting a video about it. So yeah, click like, thumbs up if you like this. I doubt I'll get many. Subscribe, bell icon, and I will see you later. Bye.